He strode into Washington like a titan, a colossus of capitalism with a 1,000-watt smile and hair that could shame a golden retriever. Donald J. Trump, the businessman, the brand, the self-proclaimed master of the art of the deal, had conquered the real estate market, the entertainment industry, and even reality television. Now, he set his sights on the biggest prize of them all, the presidency of the United States. America, he declared, was a business that needed fixing, a boardroom begging for his brand of bold, brash leadership. From day one, Trump governed like he was closing a deal, swapping diplomatic niceties for hardball tactics and boardroom bravado. He bullied allies and embraced dictators, all while tweeting insults and self-congratulations with the fervor of a teenager obsessed with their follower count. Buckle up, folks, because the Trump presidency was anything but boring. Trump's business empire, a glittering testament to his self-proclaimed brilliance, was built on a foundation of bravado, self-promotion, and a healthy dose of inherited wealth. From the moment he slapped his name in gold on that first Manhattan skyscraper, Trump understood the power of branding. He wasn't just selling buildings, he was selling an image, an aspiration, a slice of the Trumpian dream, opulent, excessive, and always, always in your face. His business philosophy, if you can call it that, was a chaotic mix of gut instinct, risky gambles, and an unwavering belief in his own infallibility. He bragged about bankruptcies like they were badges of honor, claimed to have a sixth sense for a good deal, and never ever let facts get in the way of a good story. This approach, as unconventional as it was, seemed to work in the cutthroat world of New York real estate. But could it translate to the complexities of international diplomacy and the weight of the Oval Office? Trump, never one to doubt himself, seemed to think so. In the annals of unorthodox presidential proposals, few can top Trump's infamous attempt to buy Greenland. It was a move that seemed ripped straight from the pages of a satirical novel, a real estate mogul's fever dream playing out on the world stage. The year was 2019. And Trump, with the casualness of someone ordering a Diet Coke, reportedly expressed interest in purchasing the massive Arctic island from Denmark. The reasons, as far as anyone could tell, were a perplexing mix of strategic ambition and Trumpian whimsy. Greenland, with its vast untapped resources and strategic location, apparently tickled Trump's fancy as a potential real estate trophy. Denmark, understandably baffled by the whole affair, politely declined the offer, assuring the world that Greenland was not, in fact, for sale. The incident, however comical, offered a glimpse into Trump's unorthodox approach to foreign policy, a world where traditional diplomacy was replaced with impulsive offers and grand gestures. Trump's disdain for NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, was well documented. He'd been railing against it for years, calling it the worst deal ever made, and blaming it for the decline of American manufacturing. So, it came as no surprise that one of his first acts as president was to take a wrecking ball to the agreement, vowing to renegotiate it in America's favor or scrap it altogether. What followed was a masterclass in Trumpian negotiation tactics, bluster, threats, and a healthy dose of brinkmanship. He slapped tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum, sparking a trade war with America's closest ally. In the end, after months of tense negotiations, a new deal was struck: the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or USMCA. One thing's for sure, Trump's approach to trade, like everything else he did, was loud, disruptive, and impossible to ignore. The art of the shtick. From boardroom to campaign trail, Trump's speaking style, a unique blend of folksy pronouncements, self-aggrandizement, and ad-libbed insults, was as much a part of his brand as his signature hair. It was a style honed over years of boardroom negotiations and reality TV appearances, a potent cocktail of simple messaging, repetition, and a knack for tapping into the anxieties and aspirations of his audience. Whether he was addressing a crowd of adoring supporters at a campaign rally, or pitching a real estate deal to a room full of skeptical investors, Trump understood the power of a good story. He spoke in broad strokes, painting vivid pictures of success, wealth, and a return to a bygone era of American greatness. His catchphrases, those pithy pronouncements that became his verbal calling cards, were as ubiquitous as they were effective. These weren't just words, they were marketing slogans designed to appeal to the gut, not the head, and they worked brilliantly. No such thing as defeat. Bankruptcies, elections, and the indomitable Trump spirit. In the Trumpian lexicon, there was no such thing as defeat, only strategic retreats and temporary setbacks on the road to ultimate victory. He'd built his career on this philosophy, bouncing back from bankruptcies, failed businesses, and public humiliations with the resilience of a rubber chicken. Each failure in his mind was a learning experience, a chance to regroup, rebrand, and come back stronger than ever. This unwavering belief in his own infallibility, combined with a healthy dose of self-delusion, served him well in the business world. But it also made him notoriously resistant to criticism, unable to admit fault, and prone to lashing out at anyone who dared to question his judgment. His refusal to accept the results of the election, fueled by his own ego and a steady stream of misinformation, culminated in the January 6th attack on the Capitol, a dark day in American history that further cemented his legacy as a divisive and polarizing figure. America again! The second term and the Gaza gamble. The year is 2025, and Donald J. Trump, defying all expectations and perhaps even the laws of political gravity, is back in the Oval Office for a second term. The intervening years, marked by a global pandemic, economic uncertainty, and a growing sense of unease, have done little to dampen his enthusiasm for bold pronouncements and headline-grabbing schemes. His latest venture, one that has sent shockwaves through the international community, involves the Gaza Strip. Details are scarce, shrouded in the usual veil of Trumpian secrecy, but Trump announced that he is considering a plan to acquire the long-disputed territory. To Trump, even homelands seem to be business assets. With a striking disregard for the people of Gaza, he effectively delivered his signature catchphrase, "You're fired." The idea, as outlandish as it seems, has a certain Trumpian logic to it. Only time will tell what Trump has in store for Gaza, but one thing's for sure, it's bound to be interesting. Businessman versus president. A legacy cast in concrete and controversy. So what is the legacy of Donald J. Trump, the businessman who became president? Was he a successful CEO, applying his deal-making skills to the world stage? Or a reckless gambler, jeopardizing America's standing in the world with his impulsive decisions and disregard for norms? There's no denying that Trump brought a certain business-like efficiency to the White House. He slashed regulations, cut taxes, and presided over a booming economy, at least until the pandemic hit. But his critics argue that his successes were overshadowed by his failures. They point to his chaotic management style, his divisive rhetoric, his attacks on the media and democratic institutions, and his mishandling of the COVID-19 pandemic. Only time will tell how history will judge Donald J. Trump. But one thing's for sure, he will not be forgotten. So, did Trump's business mindset make him a better president? Did Trump's business skills help or hurt his presidency? While his bold leadership and branding worked in business, the political world had different rules. Some praised his unconventional approach. Others saw it as reckless. And you, what do you think? Was his leadership effective? Was his business background an asset or a liability in politics? Comment below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Hey, don't let the conversation end here. Share this and keep the discussion going. See you in next video.